This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you in partnership with ministryleague.com. We would love for more people to discover this show, so please rate and review us on iTunes or your podcast provider. Feel free to share on your social media and subscribe at benandtravis.com for the free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast. We are coming to you from our individual homes because of weather, but that's not stopping the podcast unless, of course, our Wi-Fi comes crashing down in the middle of it. But we're excited to be with you. I am Travis Creasy. I'm joined by Ben Hayes.
I'm Ben Hayes, and I'm surviving the current 2021 snowpocalypse, as Travis has called it. And there's a lot of icy roads out. But like you said, we're here in our houses and nice and cozy and warm. And so far, we have power. So
thankful for that.
I am joining from my house, actually my daughter's bedroom, because it's the only quiet place in the house right now. So trying to figure out how we're going to go have some fun in this ice or snow or whatever mixture of winterness that it's going to be, at least to get out and enjoy just a little bit of it. So, but staying warm at the moment.
Well, Will, for those of you watching the video, has some cool AirPods in his ears currently. The perfect example of what we're trying to give you people, okay? Like, seriously, we are looking to give away AirPod Pros simply in a trade for thy email at benandtravis.com. For those of you watching the video, it's just at the bottom there. You can go hit it up and subscribe. If you give us your email, you will be entered one time to win those bad boys. We do have to hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. But
by March 1st.
Yeah, by March 1st. Midnight going into March 1st. Number 2, you can join our Facebook group. That's facebook.com/groups/Ben and Travis. And then you can get a third entry by looking us up on your favorite podcast provider, hitting us with 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, and give us a nice little review. Tell us what your favorite part about the show is, what you'd like us to do an episode about in the future so that we know it's you and we can get your name entered. And like I said, we'll be doing that drawing post March 1st. If we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're sitting at like 589, 590, something like that currently. So get us there. And also you can always share that with your online community, whatever that may look like, to get more people involved. But
and as good of a guy as Will is, he's not going to give you the ones that have his earwax in them. So we will be getting some like those that he has, as Travis said. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, you put a plug in for them. I've done a lot of running. I've done a lot of listening to music, had a lot of different headphones, and not just because I'm an Apple person or just because I love this podcast. They really are probably the best headphones that I've ever had. So they've worked really, really well. So just an easy way to take a chance on winning something free that's worth it and that's not cheap and that will go a long way for you.
Awesome. We'd love to have you. We also recently got some logo stickers out there for sale. Get the benandtravis.com logo sticker by clicking the link in our description today. Fellas, we have come together to talk a little bit about our favorite snow day, snowpocalypse, snowmageddon activities. First and foremost, we obviously want everybody to stay safe. Hopefully you are at home, safe, staying warm and well fed, as I mentioned earlier, and that everyone's safe and just kind of enjoying watching maybe some snow here pretty soon come down. But we obviously are praying for everybody to be safe out there. But we're going to talk a little bit about our favorite snow-related stories. And any one of you guys want to go first?
Well, I've got a pretty good one since I guess I'm the youngest. So my memories may not go as far back as some of y'all's.
You just have a better memory than us at this point. So
I don't know. So I believe it was 98 was the last big ice storm. I think is what it was, and kind of shut everything down for a couple weeks. And so where I grew up was over close to Forest Hills Elementary School. And if you grew up in Florence, you know that Forest Hills Elementary was the place to go anytime there was snow or ice, because the hill there was just massive. And so my dad takes my brother, myself, and my cousin, Lucas Marks, who we can shout out on the podcast. And we all go over to Forest Hills. And back then, a lot of people would just go sledding on cardboard. And they would get like refrigerator boxes, things like that. And they would all just go down. And of course, we had, $2 sleds from Dollar General. And so all these people are going down, and Lucas and my dad go down together. And so Lucas is in the front, or Dad's in the front, and Lucas is behind him on the sled. And so as they're going down the hill, there's somebody in front of Dad on a cardboard box, kind of sliding down. Well, as you can imagine, it's gotten icy, it's gotten pretty tough, just hard, and it flies out from under the person. And so Dad yells, "Duck," and Dad ducks. Well, when Dad ducks, Lucas raises his head up and goes, "Where?" And trying to look and trying to figure out what's going on. And that piece of cardboard comes straight across Lucas's face. And so the whole way back up the hill, it looks like a deer's been shot, because there's just blood everywhere. And so there's just this trail. I mean, it literally looks like a blood trail in the woods coming up the hill. And of course, with it being all snowy and ice, it's white. And you just see this blood. Nice. And Lucas comes back up the hill, and, his face is just cut wide open. So, of course, we all looked at it and we're like, "That's awesome. That's cool." Probably not Lucas, but just a vivid memory from back in '98 of Lucas looking like he had been shot like a deer. Down on the Forest Hills hill.
And probably nobody stopped sledding on it either. Back then, it's like, it's a little blood. Keep going.
Now, that may not be Luke's favorite snow story.
Yeah, but it's one that's definitely very vivid. Trauma. And many good times spent out there on the Forest Hills Elementary campus.
That's awesome.
Ben, you got one?
Well, I mean, I can think of a bunch of times when we've enjoyed some snow. I know throwing snowballs and at some of our professors at Freed a couple of times when we were up there. They didn't let us out of classes a lot for stuff like that, but every now and then we got to. I was thinking the other day or yesterday, I was just kind of thinking about growing up. We didn't get as many snow days as they get today. Like used to, it's like, nah, if you can get on the road. I mean, we were there. I don't remember it. The what?
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember that. I remember like it being a really cool thing. Like, hey, it's snowing outside, and we might run outside for a few minutes, and then we go back into class, and who cares? We'd stay till 3. I'm thankful that they give us snow breaks. I'm thankful for these days, but it's just kind of funny because we didn't get that as often. But I can remember it was either 94 or 98. I think it was the 94 one that was a big ice storm. There's a lot of bad memories connected to some of these ice storms, but I lived in that Forest Hill subdivision, and so we would go and weird as it was, I lived across the street from the funeral home and the cemetery where Will's brother now works, and I would go sled like on the hills at the cemetery, not where the graves were. So, but there was just this big hill at the tree where the trees were, and we would slide down there. I've been to Forest Hills. There's a couple times I nearly got killed at Forest Hills because I'd be going down from. If you're from the area and where they're like, I think it's like a little band room or something is. I think that's probably the hill you're talking about.
Yep.
Where you come off of it. When you get toward the bottom of it, there's a culvert at the bottom. And you've got to come off your sled or you got to somehow get stopped. And sometimes it's not easy. So I've nearly hit that culvert a couple of times, had to just bail off the sled just to, save my life. But as far as just, favorite activities, obviously, I think all of us could probably say this as we've gotten older. Favorite activities are hanging out with the kids in the snow. I enjoy throwing snowballs at my kids' faces. Okay, maybe not their faces, but I enjoy throwing snowballs at them. Trampoline in the snow is always a lot of fun. And so we don't have a whole lot of hills where we're at. We have gone down to Muscle Shoals High School and hit a little short hill that they've got there. But, just kind of being out in it, seeing their wonder and their excitement in it is always fun. So, Travis, what you got?
Well, you mentioned Freed Hardeman, and two of mine come from there. One, you mentioned, we left chapel one day, and the faculty and staff was just waiting on the students. And so it was a faculty staff versus the students, which is awesome. And I believe that Dr. Massey either threw the snowball or someone threw it at him, and it shattered a glass window there in the art building, I believe he was going. So I always remember that. I was glad I got to witness that. And then also there, right beside Faro, somebody, I guess it was a social club, decided that they would build the most ginormous snowman I've ever seen. And I'm talking like at least, hopefully I'm not exaggerating too much, but I mean at least 9 feet tall. I mean, it was huge. And of course, I always honor the people who, the troll folks, and somebody got in their 4-wheel drive, like Toyota, and ran through it, like drove through it. So, like, all these people had done all this work. And I don't know if they did that on purpose or this guy was just like, hey, I'm going to be the super jerk. But whoever it is, if it was you, thank you for one of the greatest laughs in my life. And then, of course, being a football guy, I always loved, and this is crazy to think about now, but I remember being in middle school, and some of my buddies and I, we would always have we would try to figure out what day we would have like the best chance for snow. And we would go out and play tackle football. And somehow we were able to convince our parents to leave us at a park. Like, I think it's that park across from Highland Baptist there in Florence. I'm not sure if that's Highland Park or whatever. Yeah. It's right there. And, you catch that football across your ear on a good cold day, and there's not a lot more pain that you can suffer than getting hit in the ear on a freezing cold day. And it's like, I never knew that my ear could hurt so incredibly bad. But playing football in the snow has always been a favorite of mine. I couldn't do it now because it takes me forever to warm back up. But I hate coaching in snow. That's terrible.
Yeah, you guys have called me crazy because we have this kind of bucket list among the three of us where, there's certain sporting events that we want to go to at some point. And Lambeau Field, while it's snowing, is one of my, it's just one of the ones. I know I'll freeze to death, but it would just be an awesome experience anyway.
It seems like snow days to me, of course, Ben, you mentioned this, now have become a whole lot more exciting because of Emmy, wanting to go out. She just learned kind of this past snow that we had, just a little dusting of snow angels. And so she'll run in the house now and go, Dad, snow angel. And of course she's doing it on the couch or the bed or something like that. And so there's kind of been this new excitement or wonder when it comes to snow days. And so I'm kind of curious with y'all, even thinking about spiritually or just lessons that kind of snow, that wonder and excitement that they kind of bring out or remind you every time you see that.
Well, I've always thought when you walk outside, I hate to step on the snow because I love to see just the freshness of it. And it just, when you first come out in the morning, nobody's touched it, nothing's driven on it, and seeing that, it just reminds me of the idea of his blessings are new every morning, and the fact that God just sort of has this way of refreshing things every day. I know every day is not a snow day, but if you live in an area where there's snow, here we are in the South talking about this, and the people up north right now are like, why are they talking about ice and snow right now? I mean, we've seen it for 6 months, whatever. But, for us, it's kind of a big deal. And it just reminds me It's kind of like when people come here and talk about how beautiful the river is. I'm like, I see the river every day. I drive over it. It's not that big of a deal. And I think for people, who live up north somewhere, they may say, hey, snow's not that big of a deal to us. But, to us, it's just kind of seeing that fresh blanket of snow or even ice today. It's just sort of refreshing and thinking about how God does that for us every day. And really every moment. If we live for Him, as we walk in the light, He is in the light. We have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Christ cleanses us. Interestingly enough, we started the podcast about the blood all over, the snow is not a beautiful picture, but the blood of Jesus is actually what makes us white as snow. So interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad that my favorite snow activity is not fighting a lion in a pit. I'm thankful for that. I'm not having to fight any lions or be in a pit with one, and because I'm fairly certain that I'm not bad enough to the bone to take one on and win. The Spirit of God is, so maybe that would give me a fighting chance, right? But I think kind of to Ben's point, it's kind of that renewal. I know we just started a new year, and and as the Bible says, every day has enough trouble on its own that we shouldn't have to worry about tomorrow. But there is some preparation that we put in, as you talked about, having the food stocked. But I think it's that do-over. It's kind of a reminder, and whatever it is, and I think that's good that Ben mentioned, because like I said, there's some that are probably like, snow, what's the big deal? But to take a moment and enjoy life as it's coming, and not every day is warm and fuzzies and great, but you do have life. You have breath in your lungs, and you have an opportunity to experience things. And obviously, the last few years, that's become to mean even more with our celebrations around our house. My daughter just turned 6, and a Valentine's Day baby, and then my son will be in March. They're a year and a month apart, and so there's a lot of renewal and a reminder that spring is coming. It may be a couple of weeks away, but it is coming, and that one day Jesus is going to come back, and renewal will happen, and whatever that looks like. As Christians, we should look forward to that day, because we know that God's got this.
I think kind of like what both of y'all have said, and Travis, maybe a phrase I've heard you say before is kind of be where your feet are. Enjoy what you have going on right now around you. One thing, of course, I'm the new dad, of the three of us, with Amy just kind of coming in. So I'm trying to learn from y'all, or everything y'all do, try and do the opposite. However,
that's
probably a safer bet.
However we think here, but every time I see Amy experience something new, it reminds me when Jesus said, "Unless you become like a little child, you can't inherit the kingdom." In Matthew 18, when he's talking about, and I get what he's saying is being dependent and trusting and all of that, but it also kind of brings to me the joy, that children have. I mean, you see, for us, I don't know that I necessarily get real excited about ice and being locked in my house for 2 to 3 days, but Amy's like, "Let's go!
Yeah,
this is the best thing ever." Yeah. And so it's always been a joy to me to go, okay, what is she seeing? And what is she experiencing, and how can I be more like that, and not be so caught up with everything going on, kind of like what y'all say with the refreshing idea. But just to enjoy the small things, and to see how blessed we really are. Hey, here's the beauty of God. I'm going to enjoy that.
So like a year ago, we added to our family, not an individual, not a human, but we added a dog to our family. And y'all have you've heard the fur baby. You've heard the adventures, I'm sure, either on Facebook or every now and then on here, where I've shared the crazy adventures of Nova, the Siberian Husky. She is a beautiful dog, but it has been quite the adventure of raising her. But I love watching her on snow days, because we live in Alabama, where it's most of the year pretty warm. Even in December and January, we'll get 70 and 80-degree days randomly. And so anytime it snows or ices, she goes absolutely ballistic outside. And she wants to stay in it. Like today, she's been in the house most of the day, but when we let her out, we'll call her back in and she'll just stare at us like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm where I want to be. And she'll, lay in the snow, lay on the cold concrete, lay on the cold floors in the sunroom. She wants to be in the cold. And it's kind of a reminder to me of, here's this dog that's bred for that sort of weather. That's where she belongs. And, I wonder about that excitement for us when we get to where we belong. This world we sing is not our home. We have this place, stored up for us one day. And then, the idea of our citizenship is not on earth, but in heaven from Philippians chapter 3. And so, we often think about how, we're going to be excited and how we leap for joy and, what are we going to do? I can only imagine the song talks about that. But, that's just kind of an image that I get of when she gets out there and she sees what's going on. It's like, this is the weather I was born for. Yeah. And I think about this is what we're really made for, something much greater than where we are. And so many times we get focused on the negatives and the bads that are here and forget that this is just a place that we're traveling through. There's something far greater ahead.
Well, I think, soaking up all that ice and snow for all the wonderful humidity that she has to put up with.
That's exactly right.
And as we wrap up, and I don't know if you've got any other comments that you'd like to make, but I am reminded of finishing what you start from another story in our college days, and I'll keep the names, hidden to protect the innocent, maybe. But we had two guys who lived in the dorm with us at Farrell Hall, and it snowed one time, and one decided that he was going to pull a prank on the other and take his pillow and fill it with snow and then put it back on the bed. He thought that was really great until the other guy went and got a black garbage can full of snow, brought it into his room, pulled back the covers, and filled his entire bed with the snow and pulled the covers back over it. So don't start something that you're not willing to finish. Is that an illustration for Christianity? I don't know. You can take it. You can leave it. We hope and pray that you guys have a tremendous time together, hopefully with your families in the warm and cozy. If there's anything that we can do for you, please reach out. You can get to us at hello@benandtravis.com. We'd love to hear from you. Any ideas for future episodes or questions you may have, we would love nothing more than to hear from you. Guys, y'all have a great one.
Yes, sir. You too.
You too.
Hey, Travis, what is the largest bone in the body?
That's the femur, that long bone that goes from your hip socket and connects to your knee.
So let's say that you fell and broke your femur. Do you fix it yourself?
I mean, if you're Batman, but those of us in the real world would go to a specialist to help set that bone back into place and begin that healing process.
Well, now what if your emotions get broken? What should you do? Do you fix it yourself, or might it be helpful for you to go and talk to a counselor who can help you get things straightened out?
I think you're talking about our sponsors at Serenity Counseling in Florence, Alabama, who offer help and healing and even a dose of humor to assist their clients every day.
Yeah, the ladies at Serenity Counseling, Becky, Amy, Monica, and Cayron, they offer all sorts of different kinds of therapy, from your talk therapy that we're used to play therapy for children, even EMDR or eye movement desensitization and reprocessing for those who have gone through traumatic events, and then even equine assisted psychotherapy.
Wait a minute, Ben. There's a lot of big words that you just said. That last one, assisted therapy, what is all that about?
Equine assisted therapy, Travis. Equine means horses. They use horses for therapy. Yes, horses are included and present during some of their outdoor sessions. Approaching horses helps us reflect on how we approach our relationships and how we can face other big and overwhelming things in our lives.
Ben, that sounds like God showing up and showing out in his creation. Check out the link to their website in our show notes. If you've ever wondered if a counselor might be the answer to what you're struggling with, give them a call. Serenity Counseling, where hope is given and healing begins.
Serenity Counseling is located at 1954 Jackson Road in Florence, Alabama, and they can be reached at 256-263-6367 or 256-320-4200. SerenityCounselingShoals.org.
HCU offers dual enrollment credit. Know a high schooler who needs a college credit? Heritage Christian University offers general education courses so your high schooler can get ahead. Feel at ease knowing your child will have Christian instructors. Only $100 per class. To find out more, email rharrison@hcu.edu or click Apply Now at www.hcu.edu.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.